animals like elephants and shit like that everyone knows are very advanced. And you think about how like animals like in remote parts of the jungle can communicate with each other non-verbally, and for all we know they could be telepathic. We don't fucking know.
And there's crazy stories of like, because they separate like a cow from its calf during the dairy industry, and like they'll do this and they'll drive the calf 40 miles away, and the mom cow will freak out and escape and travel 40 miles to find her baby. It's like, yo, that's like some magnetic GPS heart love shit, you know? It's like crazy, right? It's like, that's like, we're fools. If it's just like with sci stuff, you know, if we ignore it, we're just dumb as shit, you know? And we just gotta kind of acknowledge that this is a real part of life.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Totally. Aiden, I'd like to know what you think about the idea of just nonverbal communication, telepathy, and all that. Do you think in advanced civilization, do you think they ever got to that point of just not? I'm sure there's always some sort of verbal communication, but it adds a whole new thing to it. So I just mean, like, do you think society's figured this out in the past?
Definitely. Madame Blavatsky, when she was talking about like the devolution of the soul into these like physical bodies, like when they first came down, they were way less physical than we are now, and slowly we've kind of been sinking into this physical reality, becoming more physical. In times past, we didn't have that need for speech. We didn't even really have it developed or evolved yet, because we weren't so rooted in this physical. Like if you're in a room with someone and they just have just bad energy, just like hateful vibes, you can feel it radiating off of them. And I think that that's holdover from those previous times, and just because that's such a strong emotion and visceral like feeling that you can still feel it. But I think definitely at times past we had that developed, and it's kind of come around and been lost.
Right.
And who knows if we're going to come back. Like,
well, we're on the it's so hard. I mean, look, I can see some posts that are like, you're bad vibes, like I can tell, but like for a lot of times it's like we're not in the room together. Whereas if I'm at I was at Chuck E. Cheese yesterday, I saw some bad vibes. I was there.
Were you really?
Then not for fun. I was there for a kid's birthday party, but like I don't just hang out there. Let's not get the forums going. I was there, and there was just a couple people where I was just like, yeah, man, we're on the internet now to where like we're just with a bunch of people we'd never normally talk to. We'd never do this, but like you don't really know until like you really start seeing some shit from people. And I think like that's going to be tough for us to revert back to unless we make a concerted effort, I think. Right?
Yeah. No, and I think that the internet it's a deliberate tool for getting us away from the spiritual and rooting us in the physical, 100%. And taking us away from ever being able to get back in touch with that once we get the Neuralink, or once we get any sort of like augmented reality where you're in touch with this forever. I don't know, I think it'll be part of like fully cementing us away from that spiritual, and there's going to be some weird side effects